Movie begins from the year 1986. We see Lauren, who called Alice for help because she was experiencing some unusual things with Josh. Lauren shows some pictures of Josh to Alice in which a ghostly entity was visible. As the time was passing, by the time that ghostly entity was coming closer to Josh, Alice walks around the house to investigate and something attacks on her from the cupboard. Alice was recording everything, then she sees that Josh is talking to someone and then points toward a door which suddenly starts opening by itself. In the next scene, we are shown the present time where Renee was being investigated by a police officer about Alice's murder. Then we are shown the whole family of Josh, who was staying in Lauren's house till the time investigation was being done in Josh's house. Actually guys, Josh never came back from the soul world. He is stuck in the soul world and the ghost of old lady has now possessed the body of Josh. Renee thought that now they are safe from the ghost, but she started experiencing the same things again. She hears someone talking in the daughter's room, but when she looks forward to see what that her daughter was lying on the floor and crying. In the next scene, we are shown Specs and Tucker, who are in Alice's house. They see a locked room when it opens by itself. In that room, Alice used to keep her exorcism related items. Tucker stumbles with some video cassettes, among which they find the same recording of Josh made in 1986. When they look closely, they notice something and decides to call Lauren. In the next scene, we are shown Lauren, who experiences the presence of some ghost wearing white clothes. As Lauren tells everything to Josh, he tells Lauren to not to tell anything to Renee because she will be scared to hear this. It seemed that Josh was trying to hide it from Renee. Next day, Dalton tells Renee that he saw Josh talking to himself at night. In the next scene, Tucker and Specs shows Josh's old video recording where they see present Josh standing behind him. In Lauren's house, Renee got attacked by the ghost of that lady in white dress, which Lauren saw before. Lauren then decides to call a demonologist who used to work with Alice in the past, who then tried to talk to the soul of Alice to find the solution. In reply, they get the name of the hospital Lauren used to work. They all go to the hospital to investigate, where Lauren tells them an incident where a man named Parker attacked on Josh. Some days later, Lauren saw Parker moving in the hospital, and when she complained that Parker should not be roaming in the hospital, he should be resting to the receptionist. The receptionist tells Lauren that Parker suicided last night. That means she saw the ghost of Parker moving in the hospital. They somehow found the file of Parker and moves ahead to the house of Parker. On the other hand, we are shown that the ghost of lady in white dress were forcing Josh to kill his family members. And in one scene, Renee tells Josh that she heard a song playing by itself and plays it and asks Josh whether he remembers it. But Josh denies. Renee finds it very strange because she wrote that song for Josh. Actually guys, Josh's soul, which was stuck in the soul world, was actually playing that song to give a hint to Renee. Other side, Lauren, demonologist, Specs and Tucker came to Parker's house where they see a ghost of a small girl who says them to leave, otherwise she will make me kill you. They all find a basement where they see many dead bodies who were killed by Parker. Demonologist sees a wedding dress and when he touches it, he sees a vision and he understands the whole story. Actually guys, the wedding dress was a disguise of Parker. He used to do murders which her mother's evil soul made him do. Actually Parker was a boy, but her psycho mother wanted him to behave like a girl and always made him look like a girl. In that hospital, Parker attacked on Josh because he wanted his childhood back. He saw a small boy and that's why after suicide he wanted to take place of Josh by entering in his body and then he came behind Josh as we saw in the old pictures of Josh. Demonologists also find that Josh's body is currently possessed by the ghost Parker and Josh is currently stuck in the soul world. Next day, Lauren takes Renee and her kids away from Josh and that demonologist and Specs and Tucker makes a plan and the demonologist wearing a transmitter goes into Josh's house to remove Parker's soul from Josh's body. But Parker was already aware of it and he attacks on that demonologist with a knife. Listening to this, Specs and Tucker also came to rescue that demonologist, but they both knocked down by Parker's and Josh's body. In the next scene, we are shown demonologist in the soul world, where real Josh finds him. While they were looking for a way out, they see a ghost who tells Josh that his daughter is possessed by him and points towards Josh's house. Josh then rushed towards his house where everything that happening in the first part as shown in a different angle. Actually, Josh's soul was trying to enter into the house to save his daughter. That's why in the first part home security alarm was activated and the main door was open. When the soul of Josh goes to his daughter, he sees a ghost attacking on her and fights with him. But that ghost seemed powerful than Josh's soul. Then we were shown Alice, who comes to help Josh and throws that evil ghost out of the window. Alice then tells Josh and Demonologist that they both doesn't belong to the soul world and tells Josh that he has to go to the real world and remove Parker's soul from his body. But to do that he has to go to Parker's house first. As Josh left traveling in his childhood, he didn't remember Parker's house, so they decide to take the help of younger Josh. And here we are shown that it was elder Josh with whom Josh was talking while he was being filmed by Alice in the childhood. And the scene where younger Josh says, I will show you. Actually, the elder Josh asked for the way to Parker's house and the younger Josh points towards the door. And that door starts opening by itself, which was actually opened by the soul of that demonologist. When they goes into Parker's house, Parker's evil ghost mother sees them and attacks on them. On the other hand, in the real world, Lauren and Renee comes home and Parker in Josh's body attacks on them. To protect her kids, Renee rushes towards the basement and locks herself and her kids. Dalton suggests an idea and tells his mom that he will go to the soul world and get back his father. Meanwhile, in the soul world, mother of Parker attacks on Josh's soul, and in real world, Parker in Josh's body enters into the basement and attempts to kill Dalton's body. While Parker's mother was trying to kill Josh's soul, Alice comes from behind and attacks on Parker's mother. As Parker's mother was getting weaker in the real world, Parker in Josh's body also got weaker. In the soul world, Alice tells Josh and Demonologist that they both are alive and they need to return to their bodies. While they were looking for the way out between the souls, Dalton finds them and takes them to the real world. Josh returns to his body and everything gets normal. In the next scene, that demonologist erases all the memory of Josh and Dalton of going into that soul world so that they can never go there again.